Hey everyone. Well, we are back again. We're going to go a little different route this time. And this is still a retro game, but we're playing a remastered version of it just because that's what we have available. So this is Final Fantasy VIII. This one is kind of a fan splitter. You either like it a lot or it's like your least favorite of the series. You may still like it, but it's your least favorite of the series usually, if you aren't a big fan. I absolutely love it. It's by far my favorite of the series. um, I really like the side game. You know, one thing about Final Fantasy games, they always have these little side games that you play. This one is Triple Triad, and I'm just a huge fan. So we're gonna skip past the credits because, well, who needs the credits, right? We're gonna start a brand new game, and now there are a couple additional things you get. With this is that you can turn off random battles. We're not gonna do that because that's like a huge thing of, you know, Final Fantasy is all the random battles that you can get into. I will let this scene kind of go as we talk. This is kind of the opening scene. One thing people really like about Final Fantasy is all of the cutscenes. I'm not really a huge. If you know me, you know I'm not huge on graphics. I mean, I want things to look decent, but they don't need to look great. So I'm not a huge movie cutscene fan, or what all that looks like. I really could do without it. As a matter of fact, when I'm playing by myself, I'm 99% of the time I'm gonna skip it. To each their own. Everybody likes different things. I like the actual interaction, the actual gameplay. This is a kind of a foreshadowing dream that's going on here. This person that you see here is a main character, but we don't know who she is at this point. She doesn't. We don't know anything about her if you don't already know the story. So we're gonna jump right in. In this game, you play initially as Squall, and this is the gunblade that is used. There's Squall right there. Well, that's not. That's our arch rival, our nemesis, so to speak. Some more people we don't know yet. We're the one in black. Oh, now he's done it. There we go. So that's the opening scene. That just gets us into the game. Kind of gets us started off. We're going to start off in the infirmary because of our little fight with Seifer there. I think his name's Seifer. It's been a while. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I don't believe in most of the conversations it matters at all how you respond to the game. It's now there are definitely some that it makes a difference. I am a fan of not changing a lot of the names, so I leave most of the names exactly the same. In a game like this, it gets a little confusing sometimes when you change the names, because, like, for example, you can change the names of some of your GFs, which we'll kind of get into. But if you do that, then other stuff will reference the GF, and you're not exactly sure what they're talking about, and I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of changing them. So really, she's just telling us why don't we ignore him and not let him get to us. And then we bring in Quistis, which is one of the instructors. We interact with her a whole lot. She ends up being like one of the primary characters in the game. This is not her. One second. I'm not sure if you could hear that or not, but the washing machine was running and it may have been clicking in your ears. If it was, I apologize. But it is off now, or it should be. So you kind of start out here, you're just kind of walking around with her. She's talking to you. This is Quistis. This is a teacher. She thinks she's pretty smart. And this is another cutscene. It's very, very cutscene heavy, especially at the beginning. And then it'll go through phases where it's just a lot of cutscenes. But this is the garden. This is like one of the prime structures of the game at the moment. In this edition, anyway. So one of the first things you get a chance to do here, and if you don't know about it, you can move right on without getting it. We're getting ready to go take our final exam, which is kind of funny that we're starting out with our final exam, but she's questioning or scolding Seifer, but he don't care. He's a bad guy. So before you go up to her, you want to sit down at your computer and you want to turn the power on, and then I think it's in here. Yep. You get a chance to draw your first two GFs, which are like, they're kind of like deities that you can link to different powers and things like that, and then you call them into battle and they help do damage or heal, or it just kind of depends. So since we've got that, I'm not going to go through any of the tutorials. We'll just kind of go through it as we go. I've done all of those. But the big thing was to come in here and get those two GFs, because otherwise you do not have them. And it just makes things a lot easier. So the first thing I have to do is go up and talk to her, because we can't take our final exam unless we go to the Fire Cavern. So it makes it sound like we're going to start with the final exam, but really we're going to actually go to Fire Caverns, and we're actually going to go with Quistis, and she's going to give you a hint right here. She tells you to go check out your study panel, which is a hint to go get those GFs, but we've already got them, so we don't need to do that. I remember the buttons here. So we're going to go in here, we're going to set up our GFs. A couple of things they have is they learn abilities. So a couple of the things that they learn here. So this increases your hit points, your vitality. She's already got magic junction, and it doesn't really increase it. What it does is it allows you to junction magic to it to increase it. So, which we'll kind of go over that in a minute. We got to get some magic before we can do that. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it for now on that because we don't have any magic yet. So there's not really a whole lot of point in learning some of these higher things because we don't have any magic to link them to. So what they do is this makes her 10% increased damage when she's summoned, is what it's ultimately for. So we're going to go ahead and leave that on there for now, but we do want to go in and junction them to Squall, because if you don't junction them to yourself, then they don't gain experience points. Whoops, I didn't put their abilities on. Oh, why did I not get my abilities? There we go. So we need to get draw, GF, and probably magic, because we don't have any abilities yet, and we're gonna draw some magic right when we get started. You get your magic, one of the main ways you get your magic, you can get it a couple of ways, but one of the primary ways is by fighting, and you draw it from your enemies. So, which is one thing a lot of people don't like. So this is another one of our future friends. She's not really anybody to us yet, but she will be. She's just lost. She was late. She transferred here from somewhere else. So I'm going to show her around real quick. You can say no there, but by talking to this guy really quick, you get some cards for your game, for your triple triad game. You'll use them later. It's just nice to have a few cards to start out with. You gotta start somewhere. They're not good cards. They're bad cards. They're easy to lose. There's not a lot of point to them. He's quote-unquote explaining it to her how to use it, but really it's explaining it to us. And it allows you to just kind of click here to see where to go, where everything's at. And there, we did our duty. Now these little things over here are useful. They're save points, so then you can go in to your menu, and now save is a valid option. So we've got a bunch of games already in place that I've used before. So it looks like 30 is the end. We're going to put it at the end so that way I know which one we're playing with. I've played this game a lot. It's, like I said, one of my favorites. And it's a lot of time it takes, too. It's not a quick game. It even makes you go to the right out. This guy here, I believe, wants to play cards, but maybe not. Sometimes if you talk to somebody more than once, they'll have different things to say, and that can be beneficial. This right here is called the draw point, and as long as you have a GF equipped, you get that draw ability that I showed. And so we drew some magic. We drew Cure, and we definitely want to draw it, or we can draw it anyway. Now we have drawn it, and it says we stocked 5 Cures. And now I'll show you how the junction system works. So you can go in here, and so if you look, we've got magic and spirit that we can junction to. Right now we're going to go ahead and just put on spirit. It's not enough, so it doesn't do anything, as you can see. It doesn't make any difference. But as you increase, you can have up to 100 of each magic. And the more magic you have, the more effect it will have. So it does that eventually start to make a difference. It's just we don't have enough of it. So here's Quistis. This is just going to explain the same thing I already explained to you, so we'll skip it. Alright. So, this is the map that you get. The Fire Cavern is right over here. But to be honest, we're not going to go in there quite yet because you are timed. So we're going to go get some magic first, so we're a little bit stronger. So this is what the random battle looks like. And now you see down there on the right, that shows you your turn ability. And we're going to stock some magic. Oh, I didn't put anything on her, so this is going to be a quick fight. Because she can't draw, so... Because I didn't move one of the GFs to her, so she doesn't have anything equipped. You can, if you press the bottom trigger button on the right as you're about to attack, it does increase your damage. So if you're trying to kill things faster, it's worth trying. It gives you a better chance of crit, I think. I don't know. With the gunblade, it just makes it go off, but it doesn't do that with the other stuff, so I'm not sure exactly what happens. Alright, so that's one monster down. Now we need to go in and switch the GF and move one of them over to her so she can have some abilities. But you'll see we got 2 AP there. Those are activity points, maybe? Achievement points? I'm not sure. But they allow you to level up your... I have to unjunction it first. I thought it would just switch over, but it doesn't. Now I get back over to Quistis. There are a couple of points in the game where it feels like... Oops, I forgot to... where it feels like you need to... unequip everything before the character takes off or you'll lose your stuff. I don't believe you do on any of them that I've managed to test. You pretty much always get your stuff still. It might transfer to a different character because sometimes you have multiple characters that are switched in and out in the game, so it can add up. But I was going to junction the magic and see if it made a difference for him. Yeah, so see, now instead of being at 6, it moves it up to 8, which is minimal, but right now it's a lot. And really our goal right now is just to level up a little bit before we go in and fight the caverns. Oh, this isn't good. This guy's tough. We're actually going to run from him. We're not ready for him. We'll kill a whole bunch of him later, but he's too big for us right now. You don't usually see him so early. That's kind of cool. So it said struck first, which means they get to attack us first. Elemental magic is a huge one. I'm actually going to kill him now. Oops, I missed my shot. Because we don't need two of them alive, there's no point in letting two of them sit here trying to kill us. When you're fighting to just draw magic, it's best to get down to one mob if you can, or maybe two if you need to. Because as you can see, we've already lost a fair amount of hit points here. Okay, I think we're gonna... We want thunder, actually. So I'm gonna kill the bird thing, or the bee thing, whatever he is. I'm not doing very good with my trigger today. Oops, I hit the wrong thing, too. It's been a little while since I played this game. There we go. Now, especially because he has Cure, you can actually take this fight for a very long time. Because you have two options you saw when I'm drawing the magic. I can either draw it to cast it or draw it to stock it. And so when I'm drawing to stock it, that's when it builds up in our inventory. But if you draw it to cast, then you get to heal yourself. So like we'll do it this time on Squall. Now there you saw something that's a big difference in this game too, is depending on who is casting the magic, it can have a much better effect. So like Squall, when he cast it, it didn't do hardly anything, but when she cast it, it gained way more health. And I don't know why I'm stocking Cure, I should be stocking Thunder, but... This is the biggest part that's more tedious, and why people didn't like this game as much a lot of times, is because it just takes a lot to build up your magic. So you're making these fights take way longer than they need to. And just because, in some cases, it's your only way to get magic, certain magics. Other cases, it's just the best way. Some magics are easy, like you can get later without any problem, but if you want them early on, this is the only way to get them. And see, you can select, like she can select him to heal instead of herself, so. And it is turned base, so that was not a good heal. So when it is your character's turn, it's not going to move on. Oh, I lied. It does move on. I forgot about that. It does continue to go on. And you can skip your character's turn to go to the next character by pressing B. Like if you want to have certain abilities go off at the same time or in a certain order, then you can do that. And that way you can fire one ability, like maybe it gives them a weakness. And so then you want to fire that ability first, that kind of thing. like I said, you can have up to 100 of each magic. So as you can see, it takes a while to build that up when you're only getting a couple each time sometimes. We should be getting closer to the top of some of these, I would think. And I'll show you once you're full, your stock will gray out once you have all you can carry. And you don't have that option to draw it for stocking. Like that. So now I need to stock the other one. Because cure is very important. You'll need lots of cure magic. It's a big benefit. We're about to where I think we'll be able to kill him pretty soon here, I think. Okay, she's full on cure. Thunder, I won't continue to draw Thunder once he's full on cure. It's just not necessary. I mean, I'll use it eventually, but it's not something I need to have right now for both characters. Actually, what I think I'm about to do for her actually is cast Cures on us. So that way we're ready to go when he's full. You do have to be a little careful because sometimes you can cast the beneficial magic on your friends or on your enemies and the bad magic on yourself. I have done that plenty of times. There we go, that's a better heal. And I don't know if you noticed when I was setting stuff up, but you can pick the order of your abilities. I just always do draw first because I use it a lot. So you can't put it above attack. Attack is always the top, but then you set your next three abilities up to be whatever you want them to be. And so I use draw all the time, so I put it at the top. We should be getting close, I would think. Oops. There we go. Alright, so let's get this over with. That is a special ability that it has. I believe it can induce a status effect, but it did not this time, so I'm surprised it took us that long to see it. Alright, so now we're going to go in and look at our magic, because we definitely are going to have some changes here now. Okay, so if we look at Quistis, I don't think we did any magic for her before. So, see, it jumps it up to 21 for her spirit by Junction Cure. Now, one of the downsides of that is, since it's Cure, if we use that later, it'll start having a lower effect as we use it and get under 100. But here you can see it's a big difference depending on which one you put on, too. Because if I put Cure on, it goes down to 10, but right now it's 16 with Thunder. So the right magic in the right spots is always key. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the video here. But I will pick back up when I get into... Well, no, let's go ahead and do the Fire Cavern. I think we're good. Let's go to the Fire Cavern. We'll get that in, and then we'll pick back up and... She's going to tell us how to junction magic, which we just discussed. Alright. So now, one of the big things about this trial here is it is very time-based. You get a ranking based on how quickly you can go through it. So, if you pick the right time limit here, you get a better score the harder you make it. I don't know the best option, so I picked 30 minutes. I think that's probably, you probably get better if you pick a lower one. There's pretty easy ways to raise your ranking, so I don't really worry about it. So all through here you can have random encounters just like we were having out there. And on the maps, I believe, maybe it's in a little further, there is also a draw point that you can draw some magic. Now these are all going to be fire-based. Shocker. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was going to try to draw and make sure I decided. One of the reasons to draw the very first time you find a monster is to make sure that you've taken, that you've identified all the magics, because you don't always know, like you saw earlier there were some question marks for the name of the magic. If you have not identified the magic, it won't have an actual, let's go over here, there it is. And Squall already has some, so I stocked some into his. These bombs are a little unique as well, because they level themselves up, and it actually changes. Okay, we don't need any of those, so we're gonna... attack if I can get my cursor in the right place. Yeah, they're tough. I'm not doing my trigger very well for some reason. There we go. I'm gonna grab just a few fires. In here you can't really draw a whole lot because you are timed. I gave myself plenty of time to be able to draw some. Fire is a common magic though, so it's not a big deal. We're gonna go ahead and attack now. There, I got a trigger off finally. But not on his. I haven't gotten his once yet, I don't think. But you can see we were already 5 minutes into our 30 minutes, and we've only had 2 fights. So you can't, I mean, 10 minutes would have been tight, even if we ran straight to the end. So there we leveled up our GF, so that's cool. Ah, Thunderer. These guys are Thunder. And let's see what else they have. Blizzard. Blizzard's a pretty good one for junctioning, but we're not going to draw too many of them because these guys can be a little painful. Or not. I remember them being tougher than that. Okay, so here is the boss of the dungeon already. So we're going to use some of her magic real quick. No, hers is junctioned. We're going to use his. So we're going in there with full life because, well, it's a boss. This is going to be Ifrit. Now, one other thing that we learned here is that drawing from... Oh, never mind. It's not from him. So we can just attack here. So you see my bar turn blue there, and then the numbers are going down separately. That is the hit points of my GF, because I'm summoning my GF. And if they go down to 0, then you don't get the summon, and they are knocked out. So... So as you can see, Shiva's was much stronger. So we're going to summon her again. Try and get it. So eventually you'll knock him out here, and once that happens, then we'll finish this. That's what we have to get under the timer. So as you can see, I didn't draw hardly at all in here, and we're about to hit the 10-minute mark. So okay, we made it under 10. We could have done 10 minutes, but it would have been tight. It would have been within seconds. So we got Ifrit's card, which is huge. That's our first card that's actually good. Okay, so let's junction Ifrit. Now, Ifrit has an ability, or he doesn't have it yet. He does get an ability to be able to junction magic to your weapon. I thought he already had it though. Guess he has to learn it still. So we'll junction strength. And I guess I need to check on the GFs as well and see what abilities they're set to. So they're about to learn their first one. They're at 33 of 40. And now, because we are starting to get some, I'm going to put it here. Oh, he does have elemental attack. Okay, so why don't I have it on there? Oh, I have to go left. Okay. So over here is to be able to attack with an element. We're just going to throw fire in there right now because thunder is useful where it's at. So now we'll do fire damage to our monsters when we attack. It's not great in here, but it's not... We don't have ice, so... I guess we did draw a few blizzards, but not much. I should make sure... No. It's not very nice, Mr. Bomb. There we go. Anyway, so that finishes off the cavern, Fire Cavern. which is our first real combat situation and also our first time challenge that we have to work through. What I'm gonna do here once we get out is we're gonna go ahead and cut the video for now and then pick it back up after I do some of the preliminary stuff, like just the basic drawing, things like that, kind of build up some stuff. And so when we start to actually get into some more combat stuff, some more scenarios, some more of the story, we will pick back up and go from there. And we'll do several videos on this. This is a really long game, so I'm sure we'll do a whole series on this, kind of a series within a series about retro gaming, and just kind of go from there. But I'll wait till we get out of the Fire Caverns to cut it. So, and feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this game versus other Final Fantasy games, what your favorites are. Again, if you have any games that are in the retro kind of area that you want to see, by all means, let us know. We'll try to check them out. We have access to quite a few different systems that we can try to record from. Plus, we have all of the online stuff from the Switch. So, we'll definitely do what we can. But we can't do that if you don't tell us. There we go. We're almost out of the caverns now. We just have like one little screen left, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's right. I think this is the exit right here. There we go. Alright, so that's the end of the caverns. Of course, this is going to leave us here in a minute. Actually, I cannot remember if this is one of the times where I do want to remove her junction and transfer her magic. She doesn't have a whole lot. There we go. Alright. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and cut off here, and we will be back a little bit later. Thank you.